Good morning. Boy, that was loud. Good morning. Welcome. So good to have you here. What a wonderful day we've got for going out, not only spending convocation together, but we also have a great day for going outside and serving. Weather forecast is almost 70 degrees, but severe clear. That's nice. So we're going to have a great time outside at different locations. Thanks so much for showing up today. Thanks so much for being part of our Jackson College Serves. Boy, it's a great time to get together and reflect about what a great graduation commencement ceremony we had. Wasn't that a great experience? Man, that was absolutely, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll tell you what, for those of you who heard Lori Sexton speak, our graduate for 2017, she was awesome, absolutely awesome. The stories that she talked about, the indications that she had about her life and the influence of her parents, and more particularly her mother, but also the phrases that her mother taught her about life, and the ones that she remembered, and the ones, of course, she featured was about what you do matters. What you do matters. And so I got to thinking about what that meant for me and about what we do at Jackson College. I thought about our beliefs, our 13 beliefs, and what it is that we do, and everything that we do matters. How we treat other people, how our campus looks, the way we respond when we answer the phone. What we do matters. It's all about relationships and connecting with people, and how you connect with each person, how you make education and opportunity personal matters. I just thought it was an amazing speech by Lori. So fortunate to have her speak to us. And I'm actually scheduling a time to chat with her over lunch. I want her and her parents to come in and just talk about this family, which has made such a huge commitment to Jackson, her mother and her father, and she's the last of 4 children coming to Jackson College. Clearly, we've had an impact on their life, but we've also been a connective tissue for their family. And I want to understand more about their stories. So, yeah, great experience. It's my favorite day of the year, absolutely. So this is our agenda for the day. This is what we're going to be doing. We'll take a little bit of a break a little bit later on today. And I want to thank the groups of folks who really helped put today together. So the Workforce Committee, thank you for your efforts in helping make this happen. Michael and Dennis, of course, who do the great job in setting up this room and the technology. Sandra Phelan, who was running out front as well, and Deb and Sarah, thank you so much for helping to put this gathering together. Let's give those folks a round of applause, shall we? So talking a little bit about Lori Sexton and what we do matters, you think about our 13 beliefs at Jackson College. It is our why. It is what we do that matters, how we've codified what we do matters, and we hold ourselves accountable. We say that it's not enough to say that we are going to be these things, that we believe these things, but we carry them out and we hold ourselves accountable. And of course, our belief here says that not only for this month, that we are responsible to do these things, and we want to make sure that we know that we're doing a great job, that we know that we are in the rarefied air of this work of higher education. You know, Jackson College, you've experienced it yourself. I see it myself a lot about how we are seen as an innovative institution, a place where people want to come to be able to deploy themselves and lend their distinctiveness to our institution and make us even better. That's a great opportunity. And in so doing, we are the envy of community colleges. We are the envy. We are seen as the innovators and the places people want to come. People want to work here for us. They want to work with us because they want to be a part of the innovation success that is Jackson College, leading to student success. You know, yesterday, just on this point, this morning I was reading a report from Maricopa Community College, one of the largest community colleges in the nation, a large district of about, I want to say 14 community college districts in the greater Phoenix area. Last night, at their board meeting, my colleague there, Maria Harper Marinick, the president there, fairly new president, was announcing to their board a plan for the next 18 months. It was going to cost $26 million in the next year alone. And the core element to this was they were going to hire a bunch more advisors because they felt it was important to have relationships. And just yesterday, I'm having a conversation with leadership at Ivy Tech Community Colleges, just a stone's throw from here. And the new president there, the former lieutenant governor of the state of Indiana, said, you know, we have 750 students to one advisor, and we need to make a push to get it down to 500. I was thinking at Jackson College, we have one advisor, now Student Success Navigator, for every 200 students. We are really focused on what it means to be student success, and people benchmarking off of us all the time. Where are my Student Success Navigators? Stand up and be recognized. You're doing a great job. Come on, stand up. Yeah. Cindy Allen was even telling me about how the president from Beta Knock Community College, all those of you non-Michiganians up here, those folks are actually wanted to come down and spend time to us about our onboarding process, the way that we bring people to the institution, the entire process from the interviewing, the onboarding, the way that we review with them on a regular basis, our evaluation system, and so excited about that. We have, you're going to hear a little bit more about all of our NEOs this week, just an exciting crop of students. Yeah, we're all learners, aren't we? A new crop of employees joining us at Jackson College. But it is the one thing that I get asked about the most. How do you find amazing people at Jackson College? What are you doing that's so different? How do we do that? And it's almost like we want to find your secret sauce, or we want to find what it is you're doing, and we just want to bolt it on. And I keep saying, no, it takes time. You've got to invest in people. You've got to find the right people. You've got to set a standard. You've got to set a vision for the future. And don't waver from that. And you've got to find people who believe what you believe. Simon Sinek's The Why. You know, what is the why that motivates you? You know, why do you get up in the morning? You know, and why should anybody care? I would encourage you, do you watch TED Talks? Show of hands, how many people have seen TED Talks? Okay, good, I've got one for you. There's a great one out there. It is by Elon Musk as the primary speaker. In fact, it's not a TED Talk in the traditional sense, the 18-minute one thing, you know, stand up there and talk, deliver for 18 minutes. This is a conversation with Chris Anderson, who is the curator for TED, for all of TED. It's an awesome thing. I like watching them when I'm working out. It helps to distract a little bit. But on this particular one, it was an interview. It went on for about 40 minutes. For those of you who don't know who Elon Musk is, Elon is an inventor. He's an engineer. He's an incredible visionary. He's been the CEO of PayPal, Zip2, Tesla Motors. You probably heard of them. Wouldn't like to have one of their cars. But he's also inventing new corporations, the Boring Company. Not because he himself is a boring person, but because they're boring underground. He's got a vision of looking at places like Los Angeles and San Diego and Dallas, where places are very, very busy, and boring at multiple levels under the city to allow people to move at high speeds and get to distances much more cheaply. He's also working on something called a Hyperloop, which is a tube that would extend from, say, like Los Angeles to New York City in a vacuum and allow people to transport in moments. And of course, in a vacuum, you don't have resistance, you don't burn more fuel and those kinds of things. And creating skates where you can drive your car up and actually get there and go underground and get into the Hyperloop or get into the tube and go and move across the country. Just incredible, incredible vision. I was amazed at the breadth of what he was thinking about and what he was dreaming about. And he wants to get all this stuff done in his lifetime. He's talking about colonization across multiple planets, focusing first on Mars. Millions of people living on Mars. And Chris Anderson, the curator, who is also the moderator, he's listening to all this stuff and he's asking all kinds of questions. And clearly, he's blown away. He's thinking, wow, you want to get SpaceX moving up here and you want to land people, millions of people on Mars, and you want to do this in your lifetime. Why are you wanting to do this? He was asking the question about vision, right? He was wanting to know what's driving this guy. You know, and Elon, you look at him, and he's kind of a unique character anyway, but he's kind of taken back by the question, like, don't you get it? Doesn't everybody get it? He says, you know, it's about humanity. It's about improving humanity, giving us a great chance, about a sustainable planet, about helping other people be the best that they can become. It was an incredible, and for me, a very palpable notion about what it is to be a leader. For all of us as leaders. What does it mean? What does it mean? And then he asks the next question. It's almost a rhetorical question. He asks back to Chris, and he says, why do you want to live? Why do you want to live? I mean, at the core of that question for me anyway was, who am I and what am I here for? What am I supposed to do? And I thought about leadership. I thought about Jackson College. I thought about all of us and why it is that we do what we do, why we want to live. Clearly for our families, but think about the job that we do as employees of Jackson College. Our why, our vision for the future, what we're committed to every day, our 13 beliefs that we put on the line every day for everybody who comes through the door, no matter if I'm feeling sick, I've got a headache, I've been tired from the night before. I put it on the line every day for our students because our beliefs matter. What we do matters. Lori Sexton had it right. And I continue to hear this message over and over again. It's almost by design. And I'm continuing to think about that, about my own personal why and why do I want to live? We only have so much time together, and we spend lots of it together here. So what should that be about? What should that be about? It's a pretty cool deal that we get to help other people, first-generation people, minorities, people of lesser resources, international students, helping individuals to have education that they themselves can go on and invent the next Hyperloop, that they can go on and be the next doctor, to be the best parent that they can be, to help an elder with dementia. That's what we're doing. That is our why. That is why we get up in the morning. That is why we want to live. That's why you're here, because you're part of that. Right? Gosh, it's amazing to be here. What an amazing institution. If that's not enough good news, and I know it is, I've got some other things to tell you. So, I don't know what it is with water, but it is still working here. So for those of you in here who don't want to have any children, don't drink the water, bring your own bottled water. Congratulations to all of these new arrivals. We have already enrolled them in the early college program. We're excited about it. Well, congratulations to all the new little ones, and we're very excited about the sharing it. You know, one of the neat things about this college that I like, just kind of the feel and how we care about and support each other, but the fact that many of the new parents will bring the kids in, the babies in. You get to just kind of hear them coo, and everybody gets to hold them around, and it's just a fun experience. Let's offer up a thanks and congratulations to all of these people. Just a wonderful sign that life should continue to see new little ones coming along. So the Easter egg hunt. Show of hands, how many people helped with the Easter egg hunt this year? All right, let's give these people a round of applause. Thank you for helping out. You know, I tell my colleagues that we populate with the help of the ground staff and all of the volunteers and the egg layers, I call it, the people who take the plastic eggs and stuff in the candy and put the little stickers on there. We cover the entire Central Mall with 25,000 Easter eggs. And when you ring the bell, ring the fire engine, whatever sound we use that year, in seconds, that place is picked clean. Picked clean. I can't believe it. This is a great image of our gathering, and for those of you who have not been here, I would encourage you to come. We break them up by different age groups. Absolutely amazing that we get together. It's just one of the many things that we do back to our community to show the amazing way that Jackson College is part of our community. If you're interested in being a part of these kinds of public service efforts, we would encourage you to let us know. We have the Spooktacular coming up in October. That's always a great time. Get involved and decorate your building and dress up in some kind of ghoulish clothing and be a part of that gathering. It's a great place for family members to come, bring their children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, and they're able to walk through in a safe environment, get to see our college because they kind of wind their way through all the buildings and get some candy along the way. I don't know how many tons of candy we buy. Maybe I should ask Deb Holt about that, but I'm sure it's a lot. It comes in on a skid loader, so it's a lot. So I want to tell you a little bit about a refinement to our mission statement at the college. You know, most organizations have mission, vision, and value statements. Corporations have them as well. And we have also expanded our mission documents by including our beliefs, our 13 beliefs, as I mentioned previously. But in addition to that, the mission statement is really the purview and the province of our Board of Trustees to set the kind of organization that we would aspire to be. And practically speaking, a mission statement is defined by who are you, what do you do, and who do you serve. Those are the primary elements, the tacit elements that you want to hit in a mission statement. Who are you and what do you do and who do you serve? So to that end, this has been our mission statement. Who are we, what do we do, and who do we serve? We've had this for a long time. We're very mindful of the fact that demography is changing, students are changing, and we're looking to be more inspirational. Our Board of Trustees spent some time with that, our Leadership Council spent some time with this, and we began looking at others and what is out there, what looks inspirational, what looks aspirational with regard to mission. And maybe the tenets we've had since the 1900s of who are you, what do you do, and who do you serve might serve some broader purpose, might serve some kind of web page requirement, but is it aspirational? Do our employees know this? How many of you knew this off the top of your head, that it just rolled right off the tongue? Okay, not too many hands, a few good performers out there, thank you. But we spent some time thinking about this, and we thought about what we might do to be a little bit different, something a little more aspirational. So we began doing like we normally do as an institution of continuous quality improvement. We began benchmarking. We looked at others. We went out and looked at Google and Zappos and Walt Disney, and we looked at other companies like Delta and Southwest Airlines and others, international companies. We looked at lots of them, and there are some examples down here to give you an idea of different companies that are out there. So we spent a lot of time talking about that, thinking about that, dreaming about that, kind of spitballing what that looked like. At the end of the day, to save you a long story, this is what our Board of Trustees has agreed to. And so as of Monday of this week, our Board of Trustees finally approved this new mission statement. Together, we inspire and transform lives. Pretty inspirational, pretty aspirational for all of us. Fits easily on the back of a business card. You can memorize this thing, right? Next summer, I'm going to ask you how many people know by a show of hands. I'm sure it'll be just a thunderous movement in the audience, and you'll all have this. Together, we inspire and transform lives. A clear statement of our why, isn't it? We inspire and transform lives. That's what we do here. Every single job at this institution inspires and transforms lives. That's what we do. Wow. Heady stuff, isn't it? Wine down. Hey, it's Friday. Where is the wine? You know, this is something that we have started. I really like it. And for those of you who've participated, thank you so much for coming over. My wife and I, Adriana, we've opened up our Wickwire house, the college's house. We're just temporary residents. And it's a time for us to invite individuals from our college to come and spend time at the Wickwire house and on the grounds there and just not talk about work. Of course, we've got wine and beer there, of course, and some other Nibbley's cheese, of course. You got to have that. But mostly, it's a time to sit and chat and talk and just have fun and get to know people much more deeply. As I've said many times, we spend more time with each other than we do with our loved ones. So knowing each other and supporting each other and having fun along the way has been a pretty cool thing. I'll tell you, the last wind down for the month, we were actually, a group of us got together, and I had shared, I actually started something that maybe I shouldn't have, and that was the Bitmoji. How many of you know about Bitmojis? Bitmoji, if you don't know about it, is a little emojicon that you can create yourself that actually looks like you. So I've got one made. It's got my wonderful hairstyle, you know, and it's got me there in your full body. You get your, your face and facial hair and those kinds of things. So we actually had a firestorm of activity creating Bitmojis. So if you haven't gotten started on that, there's a whole bunch of new folks on our college community that know Bitmojis. Had a lot of fun with that and sending texts around about what we look like now, our alter ego as a Bitmoji. So when you get the invitation to be a part of that, please come on over. Don't be intimidated. It's just a building like every other building on all of our campuses. Just come on over, hang out, let's spend some time together, have a conversation, get to know each other a little bit better. Some things going on outside of the institution. A lot happening out there right now. The first of all is, and you're going to hear more about this from Jim Jones when he talks about facilities, but we have been paying particular attention to the mental health state of our students and of our employees, frankly. I have been troubled by the fact that over the course of this past academic year, we've had not less than 4 students who've tried to take their own life. This is not a housing thing, this is an entire student thing. We spent a lot of time doing research around this, and I want to thank Jason Valente, the president of our foundation, for helping us to go out and raise money to help support this effort. I have a daughter who suffers from mental health. I have seen students on our campus from year to year, and it seems like every year we at least have one or two students, but this has been the year we've had the most students who have been having mental health challenges. And when you get into the data, you get into the research, you find out that this is a national issue that we've got to address. We've got to move past the idea where students are somehow labeled as having a mental health issue. That we've got to shine a light on this and say, this is an important issue, right? If you are sick, you want to get well. If you are feeling unhealthy, if you got the flu, you want to improve, right? If you've got something going on inside of your mind, in your head, and your mental health is not as well as it could be, we've got to be able to provide the space for you to get some help. We have a medical clinic on our campus for individuals who are sick, and we will have, as a result of this, creating the Oasis Center, a place on campus where we have qualified, licensed people coming and talking with our students. The bottom line is that we should have at least one individual, one professional working with about every 1,000 students. So if you look across our landscape, if we have about 8,000 students, we should have that many individuals helping. Well, we're going to get started. In fact, you've probably seen some construction equipment out in the front of, on the north side of William Atkinson, but Whiting Hall. And you'll continue to see that. We've also got the dental facility being created there, but also the Oasis Center. That's where we'll place that. We'll get that started. We're going to start small, see what the efforts are going to be. It's not a place for students and employees to come to alone. We'll also have the professionals go to the classroom. So as faculty, as staff, if you want to invite these professionals to come and talk with your department, what are the early warning signs of mental health challenges? And it comes in a variety of forms. It can be OCD, it can be disruptive, it can be depressive, it can come in lots of ways. And having the knowledge, just like the training we've gone through for safety and security on our campus, having the knowledge and understanding about what mental health challenges look like, how do they present themselves, will help us better help other students and help other employees. So this is a service that we're providing to our students and to our employees as well, and we'll have more information about that for you in the future. So you're hearing a lot about ACP, you're hearing a lot about Free Community College. In fact, the most recent one, Lansing Community College, opened up their Promise Zone. It is unfortunate to me that we had the opportunity to have a Promise Zone in Jackson, Michigan. The Promise Zone allows you to capture new taxes to come in and provide educational support in the form of a scholarship to the residents of the community. It requires an early investment. I want to say it was about $3.8 or $4 million. The community of Jackson was unable to recruit that much money to be able to provide for the launching this, so actually Jackson lost its opportunity to have a Promise Zone. It was actually given to Flint. There are now more new Promise Zones being added, but the one up in Lansing was just released. So this is a case where students who have attended a public school or private school in the area of what is Lansing Public Schools. If they've been there for 4 years, they've maintained a certain GPA, they can go and get the financial equivalent of 65 semester credit hours or a 2-year degree at Lansing Community College, at Olivet, or MSU. So we're seeing lots of pockets around this happening. Some states, Governor Haslam in Tennessee, for example, was really the first to get this started, blanketed the entire state with something very similar. Of course, we've had Kalamazoo, the Kalamazoo Promise for a long time. We had a little short run here in Jackson with the Jackson Promise. It was not well funded. It actually burned down all of the corpus, and there's really nothing left there. So I'm not sure about where Michigan is going to go overall. We have continued to lobby and promote this possibility in our legislature. It's just not getting the kind of traction as it is in Oregon and Washington and other states, but we'll continue to monitor this. Most of these programs tend to be last dollar coverage, so you'd have to fill out the FAFSA, and then whatever resources are available through tax capture or state revenues that are allocated, that goes as the last dollar opportunity. So we'll find out a little bit more about that and see what that means for us. It would be really cool if we could do something like that here in Jackson. Sometimes they're institution specific, but we'll see where that goes. I'm really excited about where technology continues to go. I know that Brian has been doing some great work, Kate Theroff as well, have been doing great work, and they're going to talk a little bit more about this later today about Textbook Zero. But the whole notion of distance learning and open educational resources, the availability of information for all people all over the world, the ubiquity of education and information is really a big driver in our world today. And there's always an important responsibility that we have as we make investments, that we look at the return on what investments that we're making. There are many ways that you can take a look at that. For me, it's the ability to, first of all, reduce overall costs for our students, as well as provide phenomenal access to the students. I was reading a research report a few weeks ago about how information is getting out to the country of India, and how the students are being able to access information over there, and how they're just so hungry to have access, and free access is even better. So we're very, very excited about our movement to Textbook Zero. TBZ is a great initiative of our institution. I will tell you that we are one of about a dozen community colleges out of the 1,108 community colleges in the nation doing this. We're on the front edge, and there are lots of others having conversation. We had the American Association of Community Colleges National Convention in New Orleans last month, and lots of colleges are trying to catch up to what we're doing. And they see what we see, trying to reduce the overall cost of students, provide improved access. Having some interesting changes in the Congress. Clearly, we've got a new leadership group there going through lots of transition challenges. Probably the biggest challenge that we have in the new Congress and in the new leadership of this new administration is getting positions filled, getting people confirmed so we can begin working and negotiating and talking and sharing our stories. So lots of positions are unfilled right now. That's probably the biggest challenge that we have. I will tell you, the biggest win, in my view, that we have been fighting for years and years and years has been the year-round Pell. We finally got that done. We have about $10.6 billion in the surplus fund for Pell, and we have been saying that this has been available for us for a long time. Well, we talked a little bit too loudly about that. The administration began to see this, and they wanted to start culling out some of this money for other purposes. Building walls, strengthening the war effort, those kinds of things. We have been successful on that front because we thought we were going to have a large call out from that. It ended up only being $1.3 billion, which is still a lot of money to you and me. But out of the 10.6, only 1.3 billion will be pulled out, and it's only going to be pulled out one time rather than every year, which was what was proposed early on. So that's a great win. There's enough money with 10.6 billion to give you a sense about how big that is. The burn rate on summer Pell is about 3.2 billion a year. So, and you got new money coming in every year. So we think we've got a sustainable revenue stream to be able to ensure that we can have year-round Pell for a long time. That is a great thing for us as we think about minimizing and mitigating summer loss, or summer melt, sometimes we call it that. For students, we not only help with the retention of information, but we allow students to get out into employment or transfer to their baccalaureate granting institution at a much faster rate. Not to mention the completion rates that go up just by virtue of keeping focused on education and moving forward, moving that ball forward. So I will tell you, this is a great thing. We are in partnership with American community colleges. We're working together not only with our institutions, but also the publics were interested in it, the four-year institutions, the Research One institutions, the privates were interested in it as well. So it was a big team effort. At the American Association of Community Colleges, we actually had a crack team working on it. We implemented a new group called the Advocacy Advisor Group, 50 community college presidents working on key issues and having great connections with key leaders of Congress. So very, very excited about this. The new Pell amount will be $59.20 for next year, and the Pell grant for the summer will start next year. So we're very excited about that. You're going to see a big ramp up out of Dottie's office, beginning to promote the whole effort related to year-round Pell. So make sure that you get the word out about that. Overall, I think that the general message in the continuing resolution, which is going to take us all the way through to September, had some other good positives in there. For us, for Melissa, for example, TRIO actually had an increase. Another $40 million went into TRIO and some other related programs. So even as there's been lots of controversy and so forth, we're actually seeing a little bit of an uptick in some areas because we're making the case for success of our students. And we recognize that the new administration is interested in workforce development, so we're really focusing on initiatives such as apprenticeship training, and actually we're calling it apprenticeship education and workforce education. Turns out that the chair of the HELP committee, Virginia Fox from Virginia, doesn't like the word training. That's why you caught me saying that. We're talking about education. Interestingly, she had a meeting with a group, and she said, you know, you train animals, you educate people. So let's not talk about training anymore. So everybody's changing their terminology, their nomenclature a bit to say workforce education. So that's what's going on. Yeah, everybody's got their little quirks, right? You just work with it, get the money. Hey, we'll be happy with that. Also in the state legislature, I know Daryl's going to talk about this in a little bit, not so supportive. So the governor's recommendation for funding for community colleges this year came out to be 0. Thankfully, we've got some good helpers on the Senate side. Darwin Boer, who is a senator, he's going to be termed out here in about a year. He's been very helpful for us. He introduced another bill that said, well, could we make sure that all community colleges would get at least 2.5%? We're fighting an uphill battle. We're doing a lot of politicking and lobbying on this. We're hopeful that we'll get some kind of assistance. But for now, the lead seems to be on the House and the governor's side. He also has the veto pen, as you know. So we'll see where that shakes out. It's not looking too promising. So our traditional revenues are going to have to be through tuition, local property taxes, and student tuition. So those are the state aid, of course. So those are the challenges that we're facing. We'll continue to have to provide support and discussion with our state leadership and with the governor's office about the importance of the work we do and demonstrate the value proposition to what we're doing. So that's a little bit about the state legislature and also about Congress and where we are financially. And Dr. Woods is going to talk about some updates with regard to academics. Dr. Woods.
Figured no convocation would be complete unless Rebecca stood up and talked about pathways, right? What you're all waiting for, right? So kind of the next step in the work that we've been doing is trying to align the departments, the academic departments, with our pathways. So this is what we currently have, and I mean, it's just a traditional breakdown, but what we have put together that will go into effect for next year is aligning those departments with the 6 pathways that we have in place. So in essence, we're combining the math with the science, math and engineering with science, and then also all of the health sciences will be together, so nursing and allied health. Those two, because of the large number of faculty that are in those areas, they will continue to have 2 chairs so that they're not losing any of the leadership resources that they previously had under the prior configurations. Foundation Studies is going to continue to stand alone, though, as its own department because the work that they do is really integrated into each and every area that we're doing and really just seemed much more distinct than it would have made sense to include it in one of the other departments. So another piece of that is we wanted to ensure that along with the new departments as well as the new evaluation model in the new contract, we wanted to make sure that the deans were going to have enough time to be able to truly be working one-on-one with a lot of the faculty. Right now, as with all of us, you know, plates are really full, and having enough time to really build those relationships one-on-one has been challenging. So the position that we used to have that was focused entirely on our honors program, we took that position and reconfigured the responsibilities and broke up the departments so that there's now 3 deans and 3 academic deans. And then Kate Thorolf, we went through a search and she was offered and accepted the position of the Dean of, it is Business and Human Services. So each of the 3 deans will have 2 pathways that they are responsible for, as well as a lot of the additional non-pathways work. So Kate will have the Business, CIS, and Human Services. Todd will continue to have the STEM areas as well as liberal arts. And then Jeremy will be having the health sciences and skilled trades. And so this, again, will allow them to have more time and really build those relationships with each of the faculty members and the work that they're doing. Some work going on in Hillsdale. Michael and Amanda have been working really hard over the last year and have done an amazing job at getting another early middle college set up. We have several already, but we have not had any, and there are none that have existed in the Hillsdale area. But this one is going to go into effect in the fall. We're still waiting on that official approval from the MDE, which we are anticipating will be received this upcoming week. And this is a true countywide collaborative. They've worked very hard to make sure that each and every school district in that area, in that county, had the opportunity to be able to be part of this and make the decision whether they wanted to sign on or not, and each of them has. So this is very exciting for us. And the Hillsdale Community Foundation was also excited about the work and is going to help put some resources behind hiring an individual that will continue to support this work as it grows. They're anticipating that the full capacity over time will be a little over 200 students. So we're excited about being able to open that for the students in Hillsdale that haven't had this opportunity before. So thank you to Michael and Amanda. And then in Lenawee, we have already had, most of you are aware, we've had the Academy that has been part of the LISD Tech Center, and the students in essence enroll there and become students where they're taking the bulk of their work right there in our facility as well as the ISD's facility. But in conversations with the superintendents there, again, this has been the work that Michael and Marianne are doing, has been wanting to give the students an opportunity to remain enrolled in their home school, but still be part of a middle college. So in essence, we came up with an academy that's a branch campus program. So students just don't have to, in essence, be spending their entire time at our facility in Lenawee and the ISD. They can remain enrolled in their home schools. And so there were 7 different districts that signed on to be a part of this. And it's now going to be up to each and every one of those, the pace at which they want to begin this work and put this into place. Tecumseh is absolutely the forerunner and is wanting to get this hopefully in place for fall to give students this opportunity. And Tecumseh is also doing a lot of work very similar to what JPEC is doing with trying to look at how students can be able to move at their own pace and really have that competency-based education so that they are not just getting a grade or being saying that they have completed something successfully, but then get into the college and realize that there's a gap in what they thought they knew and what we were expecting them to know to be considered college ready. So again, Michael and Marianne are doing some really great work with that district in helping to get that model in place. So now we're going to ask Dr. Kate Thorolf to come up and Brian and talk about the work that they have been doing with TBZ. So Dr. Thorolf and Dr. Newberry, I will turn it over to you two.
Thanks, Dr. Woods. So TBZ, show of hands, who knows what TBZ stands for? Oh, that is so awesome. Okay, keep your hands up if someone came up to you and asked, I've heard about this TBZ, can you explain it to me? Can you tell me what it involves? Maybe not as many hands. Okay, by the end of this, you'll all be able to answer what TBZ is, what it stands for, and what it's all about, and why we're doing it. So what is TBZ? I'm going to hand it off to the expert on this, Brian Newberry.
Well, contrary to what some people have told us, TBZ doesn't mean 0 textbooks. We will still use textbooks at Jackson College. What textbook 0 means is that by this coming term fall, every course will have identified a digital option for all required text materials. And by option, we really want to stress option. Students are not required to use the digital option if they don't want to. They can still use a print copy if that's what they prefer, but we want to make sure that digital option is available for some very good reasons.
So some of the benefits of TBZ, first and foremost, digital texts tend to be cheaper and sometimes a lot cheaper. We know affordability really matters for our students. Every dollar, every penny counts. So if they can save $20, $30 on a textbook and over a course of a semester, that's more like $100, even $200, that's savings that they can use to fix their car when their car breaks down. We know that happens. That's money that they can invest in another trip to the grocery store so they have healthy food for themselves and their family. So this is huge. This is a big reason why we're doing TBZ. Perhaps at a future convocation, we'll talk even more about the OERs that Dr. Phelan talked about, how incredible an opportunity OERs are. We have a great faculty team working on this right now. What OERs are totally free digital text, digital course materials. And so talk about affordability when it's totally free. This is really a game changer, and we're really working hard on this. But right now, TBZ is just digital course options.
Another factor that we emphasize in TBZ is that textbooks are accessible to the student first day of class, maybe even before the first day of class. You don't have to wait for it to be shipped from Amazon. You don't have to even necessarily go into the bookstore. it's available to you immediately. You can download it onto your home computer, to your notebook computer, in some cases maybe even a tablet or a phone. The other thing that's really interesting about access is by making things digital, it gives us access to other features, things that can be more interactive, including video and audio resources. So accessibility is an important feature of TBZ.
Thanks. Another thing that TBZ supports, we know in the world today, in every career pathway, you need to be familiar with digital materials. You need to be technologically literate. We know already in our general education outcomes that it's embedded, one of our essential competencies. Any JC grad is going to be technologically literate, so TBZ helps to support that. The more our students are exposed to digital materials, the more they recognize how the materials that can be interactive, that they're familiar with, the better they're going to be, more prepared they're going to be for their careers. So TBZ is only going to be as successful as we can get the word out about it. So we need your help. We've done a lot of legwork just over the last year on this. We have surveyed students quite a bit. We've gotten a lot of feedback from students on are they familiar with TBZ? What are their course material preferences? Do they realize the benefits of digital materials? So we've done that quite a bit. We've gotten a lot of good student feedback. We have a committee that's helped us figure out what the minimum device recommendation should be for any student that recognizes, hey, TBZ is pretty cool. I think I'm going to get a device so I can optimize those benefits. And we've determined what those devices would be, what the recommendations would be. We have some devices that meet those recommendations. We've tested those out with students at a bunch of campuses. So that's been another way we've gotten the word out, as well as getting feedback on our TBZ efforts. We have an awesome web page. We'll click to that in a bit. Thanks to the marketing team for helping us pull that together. This is a place where it's a lot of frequently asked questions about Textbook Zero, because we know there's a lot of questions out there. This is the reason why it's on the web, right? Where it's emphasizing digital, but also that this information is not static. So every time we have another frequently asked question, we're going to update the web. Our marketing team, some really awesome flyers they helped to create. We have buttons ordered, ask me about TBZ to start whenever we have some new students coming onto campus. They'll be familiar with it. Parents too, we've heard parents are just as excited about this when you're talking about affordability in our traditional students. Our new student orientations already, TBZ is highlighted, so that's great. We need your help though. So anytime you might have a student who might be thinking about, ooh, those textbooks seem to be pretty expensive, let them know about our TBZ initiative, that we're on their side on this. We want to make sure that they have access to affordable text and digital text, because it really can support their learning. This has been really a campus-wide effort. So there's a few shout outs on this slide. It doesn't sound super sexy, the TBZ device committee. Maybe it sounds boring, but we have a lot of fun in that committee, best committee on campus. I mean, this is an issue, this is an effort that hits IT, the bookstore, the library, obviously faculty, obviously support staff. So we've got a great group that has helped us think through those device recommendations and have really helped to provide input on how we can roll this out even better. Our marketing team, let's give it up to Dottie's team. You guys are awesome. You guys are great. Across the board, just really quick, excited about the buttons that are coming down or that'll be ordered. Thanks so much, and many others. Again, this has been a campus-wide effort. Can't do it without everyone's help.
Well, just to wrap up, we wanted to make sure that everyone knew the website for TBZ. It's our website, jccmi.edu/TBZ. That is your single point of reference for all news and all resources related to TBZ. If there are changes, that's where they're going to be posted. So that's kind of the definitive source for Textbook Zero information here at Jackson College.
Thanks a lot.
Next, we have Martha, who, while officially she retired in December, I think we've actually seen her more now that she's retired than we did before. So we are so glad, because I will say there were many, many efforts, including Dr. Phelan's intervention and my own, and Dr. Butler trying to convince her to not retire, but we failed miserably. But at least we did convince her to stay on. So she's continuing to lead our Phi Theta Kappa and doing amazing work there. So they are going to come share some of the work that the group has been doing.
Our slides are green because we believe in springing into students' lives so we can transform and inspire them. So I'd like to introduce to you, for those of you who don't know, Nicole Kasim-Reddy, who has been our acting president and our human services person and has worked with marketing and our historian for the last 2 years. So give it up to Nicole. So like all other committees and institutions, we do some of our own goal setting. And one of those goals is to achieve 5-star status. That means that a chapter has to do particular initiatives that continue to grow the institution and the chapter which serves that institution, and that's called 5-star. For a long time, we were a 1-star chapter. For the last 5 years, we've been a 5-star chapter. So part of that is goal setting. So what you're going to see up there are some of the initiatives that we have completed in order to achieve that 5-star status. And the first was the completion of the college project, which President Phelan sets for us. He wanted 100% enrollment and joining of membership for all students who are eligible. Well, I'm sorry to say, Dan, that did not happen, but we have increased membership thanks to what we are calling the Performance Recognition Awards Program, which helps students offset their $95 membership fee, and that was funded by the Jackson College Foundation. So give it up to Jason Valenti. So if you can see our membership currently on campus, when we look at our website and our Phi Theta Kappa headquarters accounting, we have 510 students who are still currently at JC who are Phi Theta Kappa members. Okay. But for our total for 2016, so that was for the entire year, we're 133 students. This year, in less than 5 months, we have achieved 115 members. So that performance recognition and greater marketing, thanks to our marketing department and to the work of Nate Vensky and our navigators who helped us promote Phi Theta Kappa, we're off to a stellar start in achieving what seems like an impossible goal. The other thing that, another initiative that Phi Theta Kappa has is called the Commit to Complete Core. And this is an effort from the headquarters to help promote retention and persistence and completion of a college credential. So this winter, we conducted that campaign by going into all of the SEM 140 groups. Of those sections, 300 plus members, so that they would like to make that pledge to complete their college credential. And of those, 20 faculty supported that effort as well. We are going to do a institution-wide launch of this project in the fall and hopefully have many, many more students commit to complete. Nicole.
Good morning. So this year we actually hosted our first regional event and we welcomed 113 guests from around Michigan from other Phi Theta Kappa chapters, and it was really stressful. It was very, very stressful, but it was a really good learning experience. And marketing without them, oh my gosh, I would have been completely pulling my hair out. President Phelan, of course, was our keynote speaker, and we've gotten nothing but compliments about your speech and other faculty speeches. We actually asked the faculty department, or the faculty members, to look at our honors guide and look at what we actually work on through the year on our research projects, pick a theme, and present it to our Phi Theta Kappa members. So that just kind of showed the support that we have from Jackson College, and we got a lot of response from around Michigan about how involved they were. So that was really cool to hear from them. And we also had educational forums hosted by members. I hosted one. We had some from other chapters that came in and hosted, and we got to show off Burt Walker Hall, which was really fun. We also spent some time at the hangar, which they really enjoyed. It was hard to kind of get them to leave. So that was a good time. But we really enjoyed doing that mini honors. It's something that stressed us out, and it was not in our wheelhouse until we completed it, so that was pretty successful. Then, of course, we completed our Honors in Action project, and our theme that we picked this year was nostalgia and pathos. And that was a lot of research about memory, recalling, storytelling. And then I'm going to let Martha share our action project.
So what we learned, so Phi Theta Kappa not only wants to promote student leadership and give them the benefits of scholarships, but also wants to grow them as students who are willing to up the game and do research that is on the senior college level. And part of that is the research connected with honors in action. So after this rigorous 3 months of research about nostalgia and pathos, not only as persuasive devices, but how those two factors can be depressive or exhilarating and inspire action, we tried to test a hypothesis about whether our senior citizens who were in nursing homes throughout Jackson, whether their experiences and stories of past Christmases would be on the depressive side or on the celebratory side. The research suggested that they would be filled with tears, anxiousness and sadness about their families who had passed and about these opportunities no longer being available in the same way. Our research proved us, our interactions with senior citizens proved that research wrong, and that's what our project was about. So it's a community connection as well. Oh, next slide. Oh, that's me. Okay, so so our chapter in the past has done very well with our research projects and with writing them. So our chapter was asked to give a seminar, an all-day seminar at Delta College for other Michigan chapters in terms of using rubrics in order to heighten students' writing and their depth of research. So that was back. And actually, I could be President Phelan, I could ask him to come up and talk about this change in Phi Theta Kappa policy because he serves on that board, but I'll try to make it very quick. Phi Theta Kappa years ago said students who are in an educational program at any prison are not allowed to join Phi Theta Kappa. Then that policy changed to students who are in prison may join Phi Theta Kappa after they've been on parole for 3 years. What do you think that does in terms of recidivism? Not much. So Phi Theta Kappa now has changed that to students who are in prison but who are working on their education programs may indeed join Phi Theta Kappa while still a student. Goosebumps time. We've been working on that for ages as a chapter, and because of our institution's wonderful PEI program, kudos to Kimberly and all of that staff. Where's Kimberly? So there were, okay, so our program is now in 10 different prison facilities as part of the MDOC prison program. Of those, some of those are just new to start because of Pell Grant initiatives, but 5 of those sites have students who have become eligible, meaning that they've completed 12 credit hours, their GPA is 3.5 and above. Out of those, 129 students were eligible, and out of that number, 47 have already committed and joined, and their sponsors and families have paid for their membership. So we are really, excited about that. And back to TBZ. All prisoners are not allowed internet access. So think about having to do what we ask our other students to do to be engaged in Phi Theta Kappa activities, but they have no access to the internet. So now we're working on parity issues, transforming internet access to hard copies so that students can complete all the other benefits and initiatives that Phi Theta Kappa programming offers. So that's what our chapter is working on now. That's a project that we'll be working on for the rest of the summer and all throughout this coming year.
So that was last month. Last month we went to Nashville, Tennessee to go to Catalyst, which was our international convention. There was, I believe it was 3,700 Phi Theta Kappa members that were there. And we actually won some awards, so we'll share those with you. We gave Karen Marler, we nominated for the Alumni of Appreciation Award, and she was one of 15 people to win that award, so we were really grateful. Karen has been a rock for us, and she's always answering a bunch of questions and sending emails, and if we need something, she's there. She was there at our event, our regional event at 6 o'clock in the morning, printing a bunch of papers that I forgot to do. So thank goodness for Karen. We also won the Distinguished College Project Award, and we were actually first internationally with that project, so that was really exciting. We were named again a 5-star chapter, and we're also one of the top 100 chapters out of 1,300 chapters internationally. So we've done that for the past 3 years, I think. So we're doing pretty good, as long as we keep going that direction. And then today, actually this afternoon, we're going to Schoolcraft College in Livonia for the regional awards, so we'll see if we pick up any there too.
I want to say to all of the faculty who have helped inspire students and lead them to an understanding of Phi Theta Kappa, thank you. To facilities, security, marketing, thank you for your support. Dennis Young, a special shout out for you who meet us on Sunday morning and help us prepare for our induction ceremony. And here's a special thank out to Nate Vinsky and his navigators. We have been combining efforts for a win-win situation, helping students understand that there is an honor society here that will help them grow as student leaders and as scholars. So thank you, Nate and navigator teams. And a final thank you to our administrators of one ilk or another, deans, provost, president, Jackson College, foundation director, Jason, for all of your help and your support. We couldn't do it without you. I am blessed to be able to serve as this chapter's advisor representing Jackson College. Thank you.
We'll be back at 9:40, where I'll talk about facilities and IT projects. Come on in and grab a seat so we can get this party started. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Sure, a talkative bunch, aren't we? All right, I've got a handful of projects and initiatives to share with you today. We'll cruise through those, and if you have any questions, we've got some mics that will be available at the end, or if you want to shout out something, I'm sure to clarify it there on the spot. The first project is the campus mall. It's a project that's quite unique to the campus. We've never had a project that involved this many square feet before. It was purposely held off to wait for the completion of the HLC and the Burt Walker remodel and those types of things so we can beautify the center of our campus. We looked at 3 firms over the past couple months and have selected one. Tower Pinkster out of the Grand Rapids area was the firm that came up with the best design. This is their early concept. We're going to make a few changes to it, but very minor actually in scope. We're looking at trying to phase this over 2, possibly 3 years due to the financial commitment for this type of work. There's lots of fundraising opportunities for Jason to work on. There are no anchor stores. It is online only. The mall, as we're calling it, is this whole central area here. Courtyard, whatever you want to call it, quad, sometimes it's referred to at other university settings. But basically, we are looking at ways to fundraise for this and to schedule it out in a way that works best for campus operations and limited impact on student walkways and pathways between buildings. The next project, certainly smaller in scope but no less important, is the dental clinic. You know this space to be JW 102, 103, and 104 on the first floor of West Wing of Whiting. And it's going to be a 10-chair project. There's 10 chairs here throughout this space right here for the students to actually interact with real customers, so real life patients. And over here is the simulation. So that's where all of the simulators are at, so they can actually practice before they get into your mouth and mine. This right here is a reception lobby space, some office area right here. There's some x-ray rooms, faculty offices, the director's office. And I can't underemphasize enough that the Pat Gunther has been absolutely instrumental in this project. as has Jeremy Frew with the C-STEP grant. This is largely grant funded, and it's a wonderful addition to our campus. Hopping over to this building a bit, this is a unique project as well. We haven't really had much of a cosmetic improvement nor a mechanical or electrical improvement to the Potter Center lobby ever since this building opened in the early 80s. There's lots of opportunity here to make the space better. A lot of fundraising success from Jason and Dan's efforts, no doubt. We're working on nailing down the scope of this project with available funds. That's always the tricky part at the beginning of any project. There's some tentative finish selections, carpet and tile and wall coverings and those types of things. Part of this project, the $200,000 part of the project at the top, actually mandates that we have this project completed by the end of September this year. So you'll start seeing scaffolding and those types of things being erected here probably within a month or two. The construction documents are supposed to be complete here in about 5 weeks or so. The Oasis Center, Dan had alluded to it a little earlier. This is in JW 110, the same wing as the dental clinic. You can actually see there from the image on the right that the dental clinic is here, the Oasis is further down, and that red strip right there is the actual health clinic that we know and love today. There'll be some lighting around the perimeter of the entrances to kind of bring some focus and attention to that particular wing of the building. But the actual Oasis itself is meant to be a really calm and soothing environment for people to come that need some help. This is all about the mind and people that are challenged with various challenges of life and trying to raise awareness of the importance of mental health. Unfortunately, the mental health industry has been struggling for quite some time, and we've seen this from some past convocations, that it's sort of, there's a taboo, there's unfortunately a resistance to acknowledging the importance of mental health, and here and foremost at Jackson College, we want to bring the attention it deserves. So this project actually will be completed at the end of July, as you see. We'll probably have a ribbon cutting or something like that in the August board meeting, and we're really looking forward to seeing this project. Darn near there isn't a straight wall in a joint, so there's lots of curves and lots of really calming designs, furniture, lighting, the whole 9 yards. It'll be a space like no other. JPEC is busily constructing the plans to help with bringing a new life and new vision to their operation here on campus. There's 12 classrooms, 6 on each floor, and there's some public gathering space over here, some offices, and the entrance to the building is right here. As you can see from this overall canopy, it'll look fairly similar to what they have for a canopy right now going into the JW East wing. You can see the completion date there. The plans, like I said, are being worked on right now. The details, the square footage was just matched with the budget here recently over the past couple weeks, and we really do need to get this project moving in order to have it complete by basically next year. There'll be lots of work over the winter months, so they hope to get it advanced far enough along where they don't have a lot of winter conditions and expense attributed to building over the winter. Right. So this particular slide, I guess if you squint real hard, shows where JPEC will be sited. Not only are we contemplating the size that JPEC needs now, but we're contemplating the size that they're going to need as they expand their operation. It's a school that is very innovative, and we expect that there will be an expansion as time goes on. So this hatched part right here is the footprint of the school. To give you some orientation, we've got the baseball fields, softball fields, the campus services building, the track is right here. Unfortunately, as you can tell, the JPEC building is sited on the north end of the track, and there's a connector here that connects this beltway, which I'll talk about in just a second, to what we know as Hague Avenue along this way. So we're purposely holding some reserve space here for the expansion of JPEC, possibly seeing it in 2 more phases of expansion over the next handful of years. But the way you would come into the school, either from the north or from the south, is entering this beltway, or Hague connector, sorry, and wrapping around the building. In the short term, we're going to put a road through here just to cut down on overall cost of this parking area, but you'll wrap around this building and then back out here and then exit in as part of the student drop-off and pickup cycle. There's some retention ponds and those types of things required for a project of this size, for storm runoff and those types of things. We are contemplating a bus stop, a Jackson Area Transportation bus stop here to complement the one that's on the south side of William Atkinson. And that's basically what we're going to do is the college is funding everything that's obviously part of the college, and we may have some added benefit of having this parking close to the fields as well. So all the stuff here, though, is all JPEC. The building's all JPEC. So no concerns of the college covering any expense for the JPEC operation. The actual beltway is as you can see here, it's a start. This is kind of where it dead ends into the Da Vinci area right here. It'll continue down and it'll wrap around between CV2 and the ABC Child Care Center. But that's a project. The Beltway itself and the Hague Connector will have their plans developed by the end of this month. So we'll be putting it out for bid. We anticipate we'll probably have some activity in late June or early July. Disc golf, for those of you that can play, I certainly cannot. I'm not skilled in many ways, actually. But this is the hard work of Randy Bentley and Nate Schweitzer, and they've recently reached out to marketing, who's gotten lots of accolades today, a very skilled group of people. The concrete tee boxes have been poured already. You may have wondered what those disruptions are in the property as you drive in the morning. But it's a 25-acre course. If you were to take this area right here and calculate, it's about 25 acres, 18 baskets, and it's going to be a really nice course. We had to retool it a bit from some of these other projects I just spoke about. So that'll be ready here in probably within the next month easily. The signage might be delayed a bit. That'll be started here in June, but it'll be playable here very soon. On to some IT projects. As you know, the Jetstream product is sort of anything that's branded self-service. So the student planning module, self-service student planning module, which is critical to the Pathways initiative, has been stood up for quite a while now. We're adding some other self-service modules. This particular financial aid module will help students and employees be able to see a lot of the same information. The old model, which was the current, I guess you could say, until we're transitioned to this, is using e-services, and unfortunately e-services and colleague, which is a relatively old technology, the e-services part, doesn't give the students and the employees an opportunity to see a lot of the same information. There are different screens, there's different technology, and the self-service modules help bond that relationship of not only the data but the views and the common views, so people can receive help for those calling in for help over the phone. Another Jetstream, again, self-service student finance. We're rolling that out as well. This gives students the ability to see their overall bill. This is a different product than the self-service student financial aid or Jetstream financial aid. This allows them to see financial aid data and non-financial aid data, so their housing bills, et cetera. E-transcripts. We're modernizing the way students request their transcripts through the clearinghouse. As you can see, the benefits there on the screen. We're trying to help expedite the delivery of transcripts not only to the student, but to another school, perhaps, that they may be transferring to. Information security. I can tell you our initiatives for information security have largely been have taken on two different views. One, we want to make sure that you're well informed as an employee, but we also want to make sure that you're well informed for your own personal life, your own personal responsibilities, to make sure that your credit card information and your banking information and your use of computers and other technology is done in a secure way. So we've partnered with what they call the SANS Institute. They have a program called Securing the Human, and there's lots of videos that they put together. We do have a rollout over the next 18 months of more videos. Many of you have seen the work of the SANS Institute already. I would really encourage you to take information security seriously if you don't already. It is one very quick path of having your life ruined if you don't surf safely. There's lots of policies that we're trying to wrap up. Some of them partner with other initiatives like credit card regulations, PCI regulations, which stands for the payment card industry, and other types of things that are all about trying to make sure that we protect not only our employee data, but our student data and all the financial transactions therein. We have some websites and some other, in past convocations, we've had breakout sessions for information security. Many of you have attended, and I really appreciate that. Also, many of you have participated, but this is more for some of the newer folks. We do have monthly drawings for anybody that sends a Solution Center an example of a spam email or a phishing email. I can tell you that there's lots of folks out there that would just like to get into your wallet or your purse, and they're doing it in very, very clever ways. So if it seems too good to be true, by most parts it is. And I'd like to introduce Ms. Dr. Christy Hottenstein. She'll take it over for Student Services.
Thank you, Jim. All right, a couple of updates from Student Services. First, our Student for Center Success and some SI updates. Is Monica Bowman back? She's not. She had to step out. She's actually helping a student and a parent who showed up for testing today. Student Success traffic is up. It continues to be up. That new space is absolutely amazing, and sorry. This is my last convocation speech. I think I'm a little shaky because of it. I'll put the microphone up here for a minute. Student success traffic continues to be up. We have logged 611 hours of tutoring for Calc 1. Math 133, we've logged 800 hours for tutoring. That is due to the amazing work of Monica, of Terry Anderson, and our supplemental instruction team. We launched the JC Ask Me SI marketing campaign this year. We have received over 40 new potential SI leaders between that marketing campaign and between faculty recommendations. Monica Bowman has led the Center for Student Success to host the 6th annual SI and Tutor Conference. We had 7 schools here. We had an opportunity to showcase Burt Walker Hall, our CSS space, and our wonderful program here. Trio continues to do amazing things. Where's Melissa Merkel? There she is. Melissa and her team had a number of firsts this year. We had the largest graduating class for Trio this past week with 24 students walking at commencement. Yes. Yes. We also had the largest cohort of TRIO transfer students. 11 students will be transferring on to four-year institutions this upcoming fall. We had our first TRIO-sponsored study abroad student, and TRIO is also very proud that for the third year in a row, a TRIO student received the George E. Potter Award. So nice work, Melissa. I should also add that we are cautiously optimistic that our TRIO program, I know I don't want to jinx it, but we're going to do it. We are still in the running for the Upward Bound grant. Information was due out the first week of May. Surprise, surprise, the government's a little late with those announcements, but they have been sending out lots of rejection letters. We have not received ours yet, so I am very, very optimistic that in the next couple weeks we'll hear that we got a UB grant, and that's Melissa Merkel all the way. Awesome work. Graduation, commencement is always an amazing time of year, thanks to Zach McNitt, Dennis Young, Ashley Van Heest, Renee, and all the rest of the record staff. We had the highest participation since 2012. 266 graduates walked this past Saturday. Awesome work. Those graduates included our first bachelor's graduate in energy systems. It included graduates from the middle college programs, Da Vinci, JPAC, Jack 3, and the LISD Academy. Admissions update. One of the large initiatives that Karen Kazidlo and her team took on this year was the Juniors Over the Local Circuit. It's a partnership with the College and Career Access Center. 13 Jackson County high schools brought their entire junior class to campus. Over 1,000 juniors came and visited between last fall and this spring. We gave them all a t-shirt, so we have 1,000 walking billboards around Jackson County, which is absolutely awesome. And I will say this, on many of those tours, we were the first slot. They also went to Baker and they also went to Spring Arbor, both nice institutions, but when they showed up with their t-shirts on, I think Karen Kazidlo smiled just a little bit bigger. Good job, Karen. Just a little bit of data from that. Over 90% of students either agreed or strongly agreed. 660 of those 1,000 students took the survey. And they agreed that the Jackson College visit was a good use of their time and that visiting the college campuses increased their understanding of what college was like. So this is about introducing students to college campuses, getting them familiar with college in general, but hopefully for us with Jackson College, so that eventually as they become seniors, they'll be more likely to dual enroll and to matriculate here to Jackson. And then the last thing is an update on our default rate. As many of you know, I report out at every convocation about our default rate. Next to pathways, it might be the thing that you're tired of hearing about. But our cohort default rate is important. If we have too many years, if we have 3 consecutive years over 30%, we're kind of in the caution area. Any 1 year over 40%, and we are on a big time no-no list. A few years ago, our default rate jumped as high as about 24.5%, so we were definitely trending in the wrong direction. Financial aid has partnered with a company called Ed Financial, which I know you've heard me talk about in the past, to try to get that default rate down. The last couple years, we've been around 21%, which is certainly trending down and in the direction we want to go. Our goal for this year is to be under 20%. And so what this chart right here illustrates, this blue line is our current rate, which is 17.5. If we could stay there, Dr. Phelan would be pretty darn happy. If this I think it's orange line up here, is 21.7. That is our worst case scenario. So the goal hopefully is to meet somewhere in the middle, just under 20%. And Andy and his team are working hard with the folks at Ed Financial to make sure we meet that. When the default rates are published, they're first published as a draft rate. You have so long to appeal those draft rates, and then they become final. In the past, we've never even bothered to appeal our draft rate, and for the first time this year, Andy and his team have worked with Ed Financial to appeal 3 defaulters, one of which was approved. And while it doesn't knock our rate down by a ton, it does knock our rate down. And that's something that again, just proactively, Andy and his team in the Financial Aid Office have done a wonderful job. So nice work this year, Student Services. And I'll turn it over to Daryl.
Happy Friday. So it looks like we might be tight on time, so I'm going to make this quick. So this past Monday, the Board of Trustees were busy. We took 2 big items to them for their consideration. The first being a adjustment to the fiscal 17 operating budget. And we are pleased to take a budget to the board this year that did not include reductions. Our original billing contact hour goal of 117,000 BCH, we're now amended our budget to 120,300, which is real close to where we finished last year. The net effect of the adjustment was $731 to the positive. So what does this mean to you? You still have to live within your budget. There's a few assumptions in here that we need your help to pull off. So don't go on a spending spree at year end. Thank you. The board also adopted tuition and fee rates for fiscal year 18. And as Dr. Phelan alluded earlier, with state appropriations not showing an increase and property values went up 1%, the only place for us to get the resources to continue to provide the services to our students is through tuition and fees. This slide, the in-district rate went up 7.4%, and dual enrollment has become highly competitive with schools in our area. So we are actually passing on a reduction in tuition to dual enrolled students this year. The American Honors Program, when it came about, had a flat rate tuition, and we have worked with them through Dr. Wood's help in placing them on a per billing hour tuition rate, much like our normal students. It'll just provide for a more financially fair benefit to the college and American Honors. So we're excited about that. And the student service fee went from $40 to $42, and that $2 increase is how we're funding the Oasis Center that Jim and Dan have talked about so much. And no increase in course fees. We've been working with the Board of Trustees on a debt management plan. The college has about $4 million a year in debt service payments, and this year we received an increased credit rating from Moody's due to a change in their methodology. And in 2028, the college will be celebrating their 100th year anniversary, and we're suspecting that interest rates will start to climb anytime, so we believe now is the time for us to restructure our debt. We're going to, over the next 3 years, begin some advance payments on some debt service, and we're currently working on a refunding of a little over $8 million. And these combined strategies will save us about $2.4 million in interest cost over the life of the bonds. But the most exciting part of this is we'll be able to retire our debt in fiscal year 2028, which is kind of a 100-year milestone and important to the board that we do that instead of fiscal year 35. So a couple things that I don't have a slide on. Jim talked about student self-service finance. My team is also working with IT to implement TouchNet. That project begins June 1st, and we believe our students will start partaking in that for winter of 18. That'll allow them to make payments online. We'll also manage our own payment plans, so students won't have to go through a third party. So we're excited about that. And that's it. Jason Valente.
Good morning. Why don't we stand up for a second? We've been sitting for a while, so I shouldn't be the only one who gets to stand up. I'm not worried about the time, so I'm going to go for quite a while. Okay. First of all, I want to say how humbled I am today. They say that imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, and so I'd like to give a shout out to my friend Jeremy Frew, who's sporting an outfit like mine today. Looking good. Yeah. Administrator of the Year, let's give it up for this guy. I think you all know who I am. Jason Valente, president of the foundation and vice president for advancement. Oh, there we go. Okay. So the couple of things I'm responsible for, one of them is the Maher campus. Shout out to the great folks over there, Julie and Sharonica. You guys do great, and the faculty and staff. Melissa, our marvelous navigator out there. We recently completed a satisfaction survey of students at Maher, and we had a 31% response rate. So any of you gurus in analytics, Rob, 31% is a pretty good response rate, so we're pretty happy with that. Of those that responded, 93, 94% were either satisfied or very satisfied. And apparently we ticked off one student down there at the bottom. It was one student, and I think it was the day we ran out of popcorn, or the popcorn maker might have burned, Julie might have burned some popcorn or something and ticked off the student. So we're pleased with the overall satisfaction that we have out at Maher. So we asked students, what are the things that you're looking for? What would you like to see happen out there? More than 40% said they wanted some lab science courses, so I think that's a pretty strong directive of things they're looking for. 18% were interested in some additional business, accounting, and computer courses, and there was additional interest in graphic design courses. Amenities. Apparently the popcorn is not enough because 46% want cafe or some kind of food service. So we're going to look into some options related to having food delivered. When we initially met with Subway to bring the Subway out here, there was some interest on their part of bringing food out there, so we might look at that. There was interest also in, bless you, in computer workstations as well as library services. Apparently there was also some interest in us staying open after 5 o'clock on Fridays, and I said, heck, you're lucky we're even open on Fridays. So I think we're going to keep our 8 to 5 schedule on Fridays, but that was another thing that came up. I think you all are aware that we have a conference center on the east side, lower wing of the building. It's about 5,000 square feet, and we've made some investments in that space to be able to offer essentially business training, or I guess we call it business education now, different kinds of training courses. Recently, we've had a lot of events with Commonwealth Associates. CP Federal has hosted quite a few training events. We're also hosting John Christ's retirement party next month out there, so that'll be a fun time. Disability Connections just had a conference last weekend on Saturday when we had commencement, so thank you to Sharonica and Julie and others that did double duty Saturday with us being able to have that. No, that was the Department of Health and Human Services, I'm sorry. Disability Connections was a week ago. If you get the Jackson magazine, you'll see in July that we're going to be featured on the back cover of that, and I'm thinking that'll probably help spur some additional revenue, but we've been quite busy with that space, so I'm pleased with that. A couple of foundation updates. Right now, we completed last month the first round of scholarship awards, and I want to thank Cindy Gilmore, Dick Dodge. Where's Karen Kazidlo? Is Karen here? There you are. And Karen sat in with us too, and I think it was helpful to have somebody from admissions involved with that process. I've been really insistent that we look at scholarships as recruiting tools, so I think in order to continue down that road, having Karen involved is helpful, so thank you for that. Tuesday, we're starting with round 2. Did you know that, Karen? Oh, okay, good. We're starting with round 2, and then, one of the things I've been concerned about is that our process may unintentionally exclude at-risk students or others who aren't thinking about scholarships in January and May. And so we'll do another round that'll open in June and go through July. Foundation assets have increased to just over $15 million, so we're pleased with that. Recently created the 1928 Society, which is a planned giving society, and where's Jen? Is Jen here? Oh, she's not sitting with the other foundation people. Okay, she's stirring it up. That's good. Jen, who is now called the Rainmaker, has done an amazing job for us. She joined us just this year as the Senior Director of Development, has been doing an amazing job in bringing in some great gifts and bringing a great experience to us, so we're happy to have her. As Dan and Jim both mentioned, we're working on a number of projects on campus, one of them being the Potter Center, and I'm pleased with the amount of money we've been able to raise thus far. We're getting to the fun stuff now. We picked out furnishings and materials last week, and I think you'll all be very excited to see what this place is going to look like when we get that project moving. As phase 2 and 3 of those initiatives, we're looking at doing some renovations to this theater. We're talking about actually turning this theater into a dinner theater, and so that upper tier would be more of a tiered dinner theater with seats and bar stools and all kinds of cool stuff. So stay tuned on that. Also looking at replacing carpeting as well as seating in Sheffer Music Hall, or some kind of rail system. So if you're lucky enough to sit on the aisleways during shows, you're getting people grabbing onto you, pulling on you, trying to get through where they're going. So we're trying to fix that up. Dan and Jim also both mentioned the Oasis. This is a project that as I've gotten more involved and done more research as we were developing the case for it, I've really become passionate about this, and I'm really excited to see the direction we're moving with this. We do have a number of requests out from donors. We're actually talking with somebody hopefully soon about a naming of that space, so there is a lot of great activity going on with that. Spiritual Center, we're talking to a couple of people about. That's a pretty unique funding opportunity, and so that'll be something that it's kind of a niche. We'll have to find just the right people that might be interested in that. And as Jim said, the Campus Mall project is something we're looking at as well. I would suspect that the Campus Mall is something we're going to tie into with the 90th anniversary and try to get our alumni involved and other people. So we're going to get Bridget cooking on that. Bridget's throwing dollars. I don't know what they call that. There's some word for that, but making it rain. Yes. Okay. And speaking of Bridget and alumni relations, we've got new alumni wall. They're not recipients. They're actually honorees, I suppose. Dr. John Lake was our Etheline Jones Crockett Award recipient. Charles Burney is in the middle there. Ted Kristoff and Emily Garcia. So you'll see their pictures on the wall if you haven't seen them already. Another area that I work with is the Heritage Center and Diana Agee and her amazing students. Mark your calendars for June 15th. We're screening a documentary film that has been, almost a year and a half in the making. And that's going to be great. A lot of people have come together to make that happen. These are some upcoming projects and people that we're talking to, so there's quite a bit of activity going on with that. Excuse me. One of the cool things that Stephanie and Diana and others have been working on is a partnership with Ancestry.com. They actually are looking at providing an opportunity for all employees and students to use Ancestry.com for free. And so there'll be a fee to us, but there won't be a fee to you. So that's something we're looking into and another value-added type opportunity. Upcoming events. The Art, Beer, and Wine Festival. So if you don't get enough fun at the Wine Down on a Friday, you can come to the Art, Beer, and Wine Festival. We're going to have a booth. Thank you, Bridget, for helping get that going. We certainly could use the volunteers, so if you're interested, please get a hold of Bridget. Our 8th annual Feast for Knowledge is coming up. I can't believe this is our 8th one. This year will be a very different type activity. We're going to be having it over in Walker Hall, and it will be more focused on the college and what the college is doing as opposed to focusing on some kind of unique food theme. And then Bridget is also working with athletics and other folks to do homecoming, so stay tuned for that. And with that, I'll introduce our Vice President of Administration and Human Resources, Cindy Allen.
Wow. Guess those $20 bills paid off. So I will say, yeah, Jeremy may be accused of copying Jason, but when's the last time you've ever seen Jason Valenti in jeans? All right, great. So I just want to touch on healthcare really quickly. Thank you all. We had a very short time frame in order to get new forms filled out. But some of the stuff that I was hearing from employees, especially some of the newer ones, I don't think you realize exactly what happened with the legislation and what our limits are as a college and what we're actually contributing to your healthcare. So I just want to throw this slide up for you to look at, because starting back in 2012, the legislature passed a law which actually limits the number or the amount of money that public employers can contribute to your health care. So this right here on the screen is what the college is paying, whether you're single, two-person, or family coverage. And while the cap is actually, well, the amount that the college pays is actually negotiated, the cap is actually the most that the college can pay, and we are actually paying every nickel of that for your health care. So I know, it's a lot of money, and it's a great plan. But I also want you to know, too, that outside of your medical, the dental, vision, life insurance, all this is on top of that the college is paying on your behalf. So you have a really amazing employer. Just wanted to make sure you all knew that. So, and a few people asked after the fact, how did this all come to be? Faculty went to Mesa like over a year ago. There's actually a committee made up of administrators and support staff, and it used to be faculty as well, that would get together on an annual basis to review what our renewal rates were going to be, what options were out there. And I do want to thank the insurance committee. It was Kimberly Seberg, Ellen Young was involved, Anthony Reyna, and Daryl helped significantly with that, and so did Jason Valente, to shop and see what options were out there, what we could do. And you know, it wasn't pretty any way we went, but I think the college, and particularly Daryl, has done an amazing job working things around, smoothing out the rates. So for the last 4 or 5 years, we got overly spoiled, I think, and now it's kind of back to what private industry and others have been dealing with for several years now. So stay in touch. We'll get lots of information out to you when it comes to this fall. It'll be another open enrollment period. Lots of information sessions so that you can understand the best option for you. This summer, the Mesa Consortium will get together. It's all the schools in Jackson County, I think, except for JPS. And they'll make a decision on what new products to bring on board. And it looks as though there'll be 4 options, but one of them would be an HSA. So by moving to January, aligning it with a normal calendar year and not our fiscal year, I think it'll be a lot easier to understand and help make decisions there. So thank you for your patience, and thank you for getting all that paperwork in. Thank you for my great crew in HR. You guys rocked it last week. And even though Sandra's not technically HR, you know, she just picks up and does whatever needs to be done. So she was HR for the week as well. So what kind of fun things do we have coming up? How about performance recognition pay? That would be fun. Administrators have already gone through the online survey, and information was turned in. It'll all be dumped out. We'll take a look at that, see where it ends up, and checks will be paid out by the last paycheck in June. I didn't really know so many people check their pay advices like 2 or 3 days before payday. So for those of you who do that, we're trying to figure out a way to still surprise you instead of you peeking ahead of time. So stay tuned. I think we have a plan for that the initial plan by Daryl was, well, we could turn off payroll, and that made me really nervous. So the whole thing about rebooting and turning it back on, but I think we have a plan here because we do want to surprise you, acknowledge the great work that you do, and let you know in person that the work that you do has been noticed, and we absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. Faculty, Alana's been doing yeoman's work to try to get some of these processes in place for next year. The deans will be working really hard. They've been doing some great work in the provost as far as putting together what that schedule looks like and getting together with their faculty this summer to set their goals for this next year. And so come next summer, we'll be doing the same thing with the faculty in the way of recognition. Employee wellness. Here's some information from our health clinic. I don't know about you guys, but every time I talk to an employee on campus here, they're going, yep, I just went to the health clinic. They're awesome. They fixed me right up. I'm so glad they're here. It's so convenient, and they're so fabulous. Obviously, that's what the bulk of our students and our employees think of the health clinic. So thanks to Rachel and thanks to Megan. And we've had a counselor from Lifeways over there, a mental health specialist, rather, who's been doing some great work with some of our students that have been pretty stressed out. Wellness challenges. You know, I'm thinking Sandra Phelan's probably on this committee. Imagine that, you know, get out of her way if it's a rainy day in the Potter Center lobby. But anyway, the Workforce Focus Committee is working on putting together some challenges that'll be rolling out here probably in the next 30 days. Again, just another opportunity and a reminder to get up and move around when you can. You know, get up and go for a walk with somebody if you need to have a 10-minute conversation with them and do some double duty at the same time. But everybody likes rewards, so they're actually working on that list of things as well. You can stand up and move around a little bit. Come on, Walter. Where's your gold chains? Let's go. You know this is your song. So how many of you were at All College Celebration? It's like one of the favorite days of the year. This year's retirees, we have all of these great retirees. Added up the number of years of service, over 302 years of service by people that have left this institution. Of course, some of them are people like Martha Petrie, who you've seen hasn't left because we won't let her go. But here are the individuals who are at All College Celebration, fun night, great food, and lots of fun poking around at people and having some fun, good fun. So I feel bad for those of you that are at Adrian or at Hillsdale and you don't necessarily see the entire administration making themselves look like a fool. No, it's really a lot of fun, and we had fun this year, as always, going around and interrupting students in classrooms and employees in their offices. Kimberly, sorry, man, I gotta tell them that I actually set up an appointment with you in your office to make sure you'd be there. She thought she was in trouble. And of course, I think Ellen Young kind of added to it, which wasn't very nice. That was not my idea. She said, yeah, she was there as a union rep. So anyway, it was cute when you came running out of your office area to see who we were going to visit, and it was you. So anyway, it was a great day. Diana Agee, I know Diana was melting as we were bringing her out in the forefront because she doesn't like that kind of attention, but it absolutely was a great one. Greg was great. Actually, when we walked into his classroom, the students were up at the front, a student giving a speech. So, you know, we walked in, marched around, I'm thinking, where's the instructor? And I'm looking around. He was actually sitting in the back of the classroom, and I think he was trying to figure out what was going on there. How about Jeremy? How fun was that? Yeah, Jeremy doesn't like attention either. Do you want to stand up, take a bow, anything? Yeah, no, okay. Anyway, great job, and Kimberly. So last Tuesday night, I know, hello, Michelle. Last Tuesday night, Dottie Karkic and I went over to Ella Sharp as Michelle was recognized as receiving the 2017 President's Award on behalf of Junior Achievement. Michelle does lots of wonderful things out in our community, but she also does an amazing job with our students here on campus. And a lot of the instructors invite her to classrooms, and she helps these individuals get ready to go out in their next steps, hopefully to get jobs. Lots of great things, that's fine. Lots of great things going on, including in our multicultural affairs area with Lee and Antoine and Kelly. Don't know how many of you have been to a county celebration in this auditorium, but it's amazing, and it's amazing to hear our student stories. And if nothing else, it's the end of the year and you're exhausted, but you just hear one or two of those stories and it reminds all of us why we do what we do. This is amazing work that we're doing at this place. Juneteenth is coming up. Anybody that likes a little jazz and R&B, and it's free. How can the price be better than that? We'll be downtown. There's actually a resource fair attached to it this year as well. We have some local sponsors helping with that. I think I've made it about every year for like last 6 or 7 years. It's a great event, great time. Sandra Phelan's been working really hard putting together the season for next year. Yeah, Sandra, you can, okay. Actually, it's kind of cute because she Sandra, she likes details. She likes everything laid out really nice. And then they keep calling back and changing dates and changing tours. And it's like that's the world of performing arts, absolutely. So still more coming, still waiting to get some answers and some more shows. But that big announcement will be coming out here in the next couple of weeks. We're not going to celebrate security? What, Dennis? Is this where Jeff Whipple makes his entrance or something? No, okay. Anyways, Jim was talking about all the security, or all of the construction and so forth. Randy Bentley and Jeff Whipple have both done great jobs of going over to benchmark against Schoolcraft. They're actually going to go visit Trustee Matt Hine, who's in charge of security at Allegiance, looking at some of their technology and some of their software as well. So that's still moving forward, and hopefully we'll have everything up and running by fall semester. We'll be promoting this a lot more too. Tip 411 is the Jackson County system where a student or a faculty member or an employee, if you want to text, you want to stay anonymous, but you want to send a text going, hey, this just doesn't look right, or hey, can you send someone to security, or you know that event that happened last night, I think I know who it was. And so we're hoping that this will certainly help our security department and Mary Jo Kennedy and people who are involved in some of the judicial processes as well. So that's in play. It already works right now, and there's actually apps. You can go to your phones. I know you have them out, but you don't have to do it right now. But there's actually an app you can download and have right on your phone so you can be ready if you see anything that doesn't look quite right that you think security should know about. This is our security on our campuses. We still have deputy sheriffs out here 40 hours a week. We have them coming and doing patrols. Hopefully you see them patrolling our roads and getting out and walking through buildings. I think they're doing a great job, and we're constantly looking and tracking and improving and changing hours and doing things to make sure that everybody feels safe on all of our campuses. I am so glad to hear that marketing is getting so many kudos today. They're not just recognized by you all, which is incredibly important, but at the regional conference, Dottie, 7 different states, I think, and these are all the great awards they brought back. I mean, honestly, every time they go to this thing, if they don't bring back a half a dozen awards, they come back pouting. I mean, they're a really competitive group of individuals, but won amazing awards. And then from that, those award winners go on to the nationals. And out of 1,840 entries, we were one of only 150 winners. So give it up for the marketing department. You guys rock. Actually, they were bribing me from the other states, asking to cut your travel budget so you couldn't go there and submit, because you guys like make everybody else look kind of bad. So, time for a quick break, and then we're really going to come back and celebrate our employees and celebrate our newest employees since the last time we were here, and then we'll have a Q&A. So if there's anything any of us talked about and you have some burning questions, feel free to get to a microphone and shout them out, okay? We'll see you back in 10 minutes. Want to introduce our new employees. This is to get the people in the lobby in. Want to introduce you to the newest Jets, Jackson College Jets, yeah. Jacob Showerman. Jacob, are you here? Come on down, Jacob. Jacob's been teaching as an adjunct in EMS, so he may not look like a brand new face, but now he's over in our Veterans Center. And I actually saw your wife, Courtney, graduate from Siena Saturday afternoon, so congrats. Brian Murphy, our newest member of our Custodial and Event Service team. This guy might look a little familiar, I'm not sure. Tom Norris, for our groundskeeper and custodial services. What was that? What was that, you? Our new student service specialist, Stephanie Waffle Stevenson. Isn't it funny when one person starts something and it's cute. Our new person in charge of student life, Chaz Leitart. Going to have some amazing things for students to do all next fall and winter. Our new cleaning team member, Amy Crone. Okay, these last 5 are really new. Today is their 5th day as being a Jackson College Jet. Steve Young, come on down. Up next is Ben Clark from our IT area. Ben probably looks a little familiar. We're running around here with Randy Bentley. But now he's an official member of our team. Finally, some help for Tina Matz in our corporate and continuing education, Bonnie Manier. One of our new faculty members in cybersecurity, what a hoot. Carlos Garcia, come on down, Carlos. You're so awesome. I don't know, this is going to be hard to beat, David. Are you ready for this? Our new guy in our facilities department, plumber and water quality control, David Francis. Let's give a warm, warm welcome to the newest Jackson College Jets. It takes a little while for it to come down. Okay, you guys can go take your seats. Thanks for being good sports. Appreciate it. This is a point in time if we missed anything that's just a burning question in your mind or something going on, you just want to get it confirmed or whatever it is, feel free, stand up, holler it out. I can bring a microphone to you, whatever you want to do. Just don't keep messing with me and ask a question here and then down here, okay? Just be nice. Yes, Melissa.
Digital material doesn't have to be always connected to the cloud. So you might have some students, right, who just want to, you eventually need an internet connection to download it, but if you have a tablet that isn't connected to the internet, but you have the material on your tablet, you can obviously use that as part of your course material. Brian, anything else to add on that, Brian?
Well, it depends on what the instructor selects.
That's right. This is faculty-led. So I will say anything that is cloud-based or can have that interactivity, it can be even more, and can enhance the learning experience. So there's benefits for why it would be connected to the internet. That makes sense? Great question.
And it doesn't even have to be a question either. You can do a shout out to somebody if you want to as well. When we were talking about All College Celebration, I really should have mentioned Dan Bickle and our students that played at All College. Wasn't that awesome? Fun. Very talented individuals. Anybody else? Come on, man. Luncheon can be ready for 15 minutes. I don't care. Yes, Katie. There is not a new gym planned in the JPAC building. Katie's depressed now, so share your dessert with her.
For food, for you know, all group, all school meetings. What do they call those? Assemblies. Thank you. It's been a while since I've been in K-12. And so there could be some activities in there, but it's by no means a gym. You know. Yeah. Yeah.
Right now, what they're doing is working out deals with Subway and getting sandwiches for their students. They always have backup peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the refrigerator. And I think they have pizza delivered. A couple days, imagine that, kids liking pizza. Eat in the multi-purpose area. Okay. Yes? Jim, I think this one's yours.
The new and improved gym. I've had conversations with both Heather and Nate regarding the JPAC footprint. It is, as you could tell, on top of the existing soccer field, the existing game field. We are going to be making some provisions for a practice field to make sure that the practices can still be housed here on campus. But as far as the game days, it's something that Heather's looking into to rent fields within the area. And there's the one by Parkside, Hall Field, that's certainly one of the more popular ones. We had done some spitballing on the cost of a turf field that actually could be used not only for soccer but also lacrosse and possibly football down the road. And and suffice it to say, there's lots of fundraising opportunities. So it'll likely be a while before we end up getting a game field here on site. Yes. Right. So as part of the Beltway project, I didn't realize I was tethered to that chair over there. As part of the Beltway project, we're working with the civil engineers. We've got actually them under contract for several projects. The mall here soon, and also they're the civil people for the or civil engineers for the JPAC project as well. We're actually going to be doing some sidewalk sidewalk improvements in the ABC area. So when the parents park, they can go up on the actual sidewalk and bring the kids into the school rather than walk behind the cars. That was actually a request, and that's something I've been working on with Mary Ann for a while. We didn't have the funds to do it as part of our operational budget this year. It was about $11,000 worth of concrete. But I plan on folding that into the Beltway project since there's going to be lots of concrete truck and a better economy of scale with that project anyhow. When the Beltway is designed, we're going to make sure that the curbing and the lighting is done in a way so there'll be basically double headlights. So one head will go over the actual roadway, and the other side of the pole will have light illuminating the actual fitness trail. As far as the funding goes, I know we're working on that. There's not only the actual fitness trail itself, but also a park course component to it as well, where there's fitness stations around the proximity of the Beltway property. So we still have a little bit more design work to do on that, and actually that requires some funding as well, even though Dan and Sarah have secured some funds for the park course through a grant. Anything else? All right, Cindy, back to you.
So where's Chris Kimball? I saw him this morning. He popped in. Chris? So do you want to stand up and share like your busy week and how many kids you had through?
So I was just sharing my HR that we've been really busy this week at the Hillsdale Center. We had 3 straight high school orientations, and we were just sort of chatting about them in context. But we went up to the stage for the football just this week alone, so it's really awesome. The great work by our team.
Awesome. Let's give it up to the people in Hillsdale. Who else has something exciting you want to share? Yeah. Come on, Renee. Are you talking, is it Jackson College or JPAC? I do know that shared a few things a few times with JPAC, and sometimes it's community members that will call, you're coming around one of those big curves and they're running 6 abreast and it's like, holy smoke. So, but since we have a JPAC board member in the audience, I'm sure it'll be another conversation again, just a reminder. Absolutely. Thank you. Good. Oh, show off those new jeans again.
You do look good in jeans, Jason.
Thanks. Not to be a heavy, but I wanted to mention something related to fundraising on campus. We do have a policy related to fundraising, and that is if you're interested in doing some fundraising, please connect with the foundation and don't go out and do that on your own. We've had a number of instances where we'll be out talking to somebody and they'll say, oh, well, your whatever person was just here from this department and somebody else was just asking us for this. And we spend a lot of time preparing for conversations. We spend a lot of time putting proposals together. And when we walk in the door and find that 3 other people from the college have been there and we have no idea about that, it doesn't make the college look great, and it substantially decreases the funding that we receive. So, not looking to control what you may do, but looking to coordinate what you may do. So if you're interested in doing fundraising for your departments or teams or other things, we've had a great working with the athletic department since Rick has been heading up athletic development. We've really cleaned that up. But just get a hold of us, get a hold of myself or Jen, and we can help you out with that. Relatedly, gifts in kind. People love to unload things, and sometimes they're great, and sometimes they're like white elephant gifts. So cars are infamous for people wanting to get rid of, pianos, other kinds of things that are heavy and you don't want to try to deal with. People think they're great to give away to colleges and other places. We do have a process for gifts in kind. With the exception of Daryl and the president and myself, no one is allowed to accept gifts in kind on behalf of the college. So if you're interested in or have somebody approach you on something they may want to give to the college, please work with us and we can make sure that works. There are IRS regulations related to the value of those gifts and how we acknowledge those gifts. And so we just want to make sure that we're doing things correctly and appropriately. So again, happy to work with folks. We appreciate the enthusiasm. We just need to coordinate our efforts. So thanks.
One of our newer faculty, what's going on in the world of ag?
I have a question for Jason. So if we are coordinating with industry partners and they're providing supplies like seed from Pioneer DuPont, do you guys need to know about that?
How about I just give you this one?
Again, I would just recommend you let us know what's going on so that we can acknowledge their gift, that we can make sure we thank them appropriately. And again, then we know who we're having interactions with, and somewhere down the line, we might want to talk to them about something else, or you might want to talk about something. So when we know things are happening, we can all work better together, so that would be helpful.
Actually, Dr. Meese, can you also, I know, but does everybody know that there's a potential that we may grow
Hops? For educational purposes. Hops? Wow, that got people buzzing, didn't it? In one way. Anthony, I'm going to walk up and give you the mic. Pass down the mic.
Just want to congratulate Christy Hottenstein on her new position and just wish her the best. So you've been a major contribution to the whole college. So we're going to miss you very much.
Oh, Zach said that was from everybody, Christy. Okay, Karen too. Okay. Oh yeah, Karen's retiring July 1st, June 30th. Any other random thoughts you want to share? Yes. Oh, man. I think we need the president to lead a rousing song of happy birthday. Hey, if Martha Petrie can get away with it, what the heck?
That's Martha, though. All right, and a one, and a two, and a three. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Liz. Happy birthday to you. Yay, woohoo!
Okay, we went from hops to singing. What's next? Oops.
Oh, I just wanted to give a couple shout outs. Heard a story about Karen Kazidlo that really demonstrates our beliefs in trying to help a prospective student who is homeless living in the shelter in Jackson, trying to get here to campus. He managed to be able to get here, but she made sure that he had money to take the bus back, and I believe she and Antoine got him some money and then also got him some lunch while he was here. And he also spent, I think, all day at CSS trying to get his test scores up so that he could qualify to live in housing. So I just thought that was nice to be able to, you know, celebrate those who are doing great things. I also wondered if somebody from housing who might know more of the details might share, since we tend to hear some of the negative news that comes from some of our housing students, some of the positive things that they're doing. For Elizabeth Bonzik, who worked with students who were leaving and had leftover meals on their meal cards, and coordinated with Subway and worked with area shelters and donated this to area shelters and went as far as Grand Rapids and to police and fire. Am I getting that right? So, yes. Okay, and so those have been stories that we've also seen in the news.
Okay.
We are down a couple of staff in PEI, quite literally unmanned, meaning that our two folks, Kimberly and Lindsay, have been just doing overtime and overtime, literally and figuratively, trying to keep up. And if you've noticed the numbers, with more enrollments that come in, PEI is approaching 20% campus enrollments for the summer.
Woo!
I just wanted to ask if you guys have any students looking for employment this fall, send them my way. We're looking to hire some new consultants for this fall, so. I'm Keegan Moore, by the way.
I'm sure everyone knew that anyway. Anything else? I think food service, if we got them till 11:15, so you guys have a quick break, go downstairs. If the foreman Phelan, not this one, hasn't given you all your instructions for later, you can meet out there, I think on the concession stand counter, in case you forgot where you signed up or something. It's all out there. If you need directions on how to get to one of the parks, holler, we'll help you with that. But from this point, you can go downstairs into the dining room. Sandra, everyone should leave here by 12:30 to get to their parks by 1 o'clock. Hit the ground running. Probably 12:15 for Hillsdale. Not 1:15, right? Oh, okay. Well, come on, man. We're getting them some extra time here. Whatever works. Yeah, just wow. If you can keep up with Joyce, she can get you to the park. Just follow her. Okay. Anything else for the good of the order? Lots of more conversation obviously can happen downstairs. If you have a question you didn't want to bring up in front of everyone, leadership will be down there eating lunch as well, or whoever you need to connect with. Okay? Thank you for coming.